GMC Syclone. That's Cyclone with an S.
It still accelerates from 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, making it every bit as fast as a Lamborghini Diablo.
The Syclone was the fastest production truck for 1991, powered by a 4.3-liter V6 with a Mitsubishi turbo, producing a claimed 280 horsepower, which was basically for insurance purposes, but it is known for making well over 300. Using the all-wheel drive system borrowed from the Chevy Astro, GMC Safari, and Oldsmobile Bravada, got this thing off the line in mid to high 4-second range, 0 to 60. That's quicker than a C4 Corvette ZR1 and almost as quick as a Ferrari F40. This remained the quickest production pickup truck for nearly 30 years, till the Ram TRX was produced, according to Hagerty. This thing screams 90s. I'm going to be focusing on the Syclone in this video, and in part 2, I'll be focusing on the Typhoon, so look for that video to come out shortly. Now, let me introduce you to David, and let's hear his story.
I've had the Syclone for about 7 years now. When I first got it, I used to live in Northern California. It was a 14,000 mile car located in Southern California. Caught a flight, went and looked at it, saw what it was, picked it up and drove it back home. It sat for about 10 years and I got it from a flipper. We've done coilover shocks, MagnaFlow exhaust, the Corvette ZR1 wheels with the 11-inch wheels in the back, Nitto tires, a Holley distributor, and pretty much it runs really clean and strong.
These things were only produced in 91, correct?
That's right. And they made about just a hair under 3,000 of them.
They were all black.
Yes.
Except for wasn't there like 3 or 4 that were white, but that was it?
There were a couple that were used for the drag race promotions that Don Prudhomme helped GMC promote these trucks. Those were white and gray, and there were 10 of them that were given away by the Marlboro Tobacco Company, and you had to enter the contest, and there basically were Hot Licks Red, Targa top, Recaro seats, Sony stereo, Boyd Coddington wheels, hard tonneau cover. They were just amazing, over just the regular Syclone. And then there was also the PPG Syclone that wasn't street legal. So there are a handful of other ones that weren't black.
They were planning on putting a 3.8 liter Grand National motor in it. And then from what I've read or what I've gathered, I guess Chevy or General Motors shut that down and they didn't want nothing to do with it. So then GMC modified the 4.3 liter and just worked with that, right?
Correct.
So then they slapped a Mitsubishi turbo on there.
Yep. They were rated at 285 horse, but if you talk to most people, based on their 0 to 60 times or drag race times, people guess them to be over 300 horsepower.
Oh yeah.
On an all-wheel drive system from the Bravada.
With a 0 to 60 time of 5.4 seconds on a 90-degree day. On cooler days, under 5 seconds is very possible. At the drag strip, the quarter mile also flies by in 14.1 seconds at 98 miles per hour.
Take components from whatever division of General Motors they wanted. The motor's a standard GMC motor. The dashboard is from a Pontiac Sunbird because it has a turbo gauge in it. The steering wheel is based off a C4 Corvette. The shifter was a C4 Corvette. They're smart. They're trying to keep costs down, even though it was a $26,000 car or a $26,000 truck back in the day.
It essentially is a parts bin car.
Yes.
Their vehicle.
Yes.
But I mean, they were just working with what they had, and I think it's fantastic. The all-wheel drive system from the van and using the 4.3 that was already in the truck, Mitsubishi turbo, and I believe I read it had a Borg Warner transfer case on there. That's pretty cool.
I believe so.
And I don't know, this thing just screams 90s. I love it.
So this one you can tell it's obviously lowered, with coilovers.
Yeah, it feels lower.
It's got control arms. I believe it's a MagnaFlow exhaust that I got from back in the day. It's got a Holley distributor, and then the wheels. But the ride's both a little bit sharper than the Typhoon,
Right.
and it's also a little bit harsher at the same time. So
Yeah, it feels like it.
Trade-offs.
Yeah. So when driving around, you get a lot of like thumbs up and
Yeah,
that's
every once in a
cool,
while
or-
I do. Every once in a while I do, and it always makes me chuckle. Or I'll call up my buddy. Oh yeah, somebody saw me today and give me a thumbs up. Oh, that was
Yeah.
cool. Or when I'm at the car show and somebody comes up to one of the trucks, I'll ask them, so what do you remember about them? So I can hear their story about, oh yeah, my father had one, or my neighbor had one, or whatever.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, they were so badass back in the day. And it's always fun to hear those stories.
yeah, oh for sure. Never thought I'd drive a Cyclone and a Typhoon.
It's your lucky day, Shane.
It's my lucky day. It's the little things in life, man.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a little crammed.
Yeah, you're a little bit taller than me.
I'm 6'1", I think.
Yeah, it's a little snug. If the sub weren't there, you'd probably be just right at the limit. Or close
Right.
to it.
I like the Momo wheel. It's small, nice. Is it a quick release?
No.
Well, okay, I was like, what? Sorry, I'm like geeking out right now, man.
Hey,
This is cool.
go right ahead.
This is so cool.
That's the fun part of the car hobby.
Oh yeah.
When you make new friends and you can share what you have, so other people can learn about it, and you walk away, you have a smile on your face, and you're able to tell a story to somebody and say, hey, I got to drive this. This was really cool. Or
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got to ride in a Countach. I was smiling for a week or whatever.
Wow.
And I told people, oh yeah, I got to ride in a Countach. So
Yeah.
not that this is a Countach, but it's the
No,
experience.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's something you don't get to do every day.
Right. It feels nice, man.
High speed is like 125.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or top speed.
Right.
Yeah. That's more than enough in a truck like this.
Yeah. So you've been a Cyclone, Typhoon kind of collector, enthusiast for many, many years. You had
pretty much my entire
one
life.
new.
My first Cyclone was brand new from the dealership. It was probably about a year after they came out in Como, California, which is a part just south of San Francisco. And they were selling a brand new Cyclone, and if I remember correctly, it was about $18,000 before tax. And that was my first one. And the Cyclone here, this is my fourth one, and the Typhoon is my fifth one.
Wow.
If you look back in the day, Car and Driver did an article comparing the Cyclone
Right.
to the Ferrari 348.
Yeah.
Obviously the Ferrari 348 is going to be a faster car,
It's faster,
top
yes.
speed,
Right.
but off the line,
And quarter mile now.
quarter mile, the Cyclone was quicker because of all-wheel drive and about the same horsepower roughly.
Right.
And if you get the chance, read the article. It's still on there on the internet. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
Because they publish an article and they're talking about capacity as far as how many beer kegs can you transport with the Cyclone, and how many beer kegs you can put in the Ferrari 348.
Right.
So back in the day, it was a fun time.
I mean, this is a time when, you know, a lot of manufacturers are really doing crazy, just, you know, cool things, which I mean, they still are for the most part, but it's just something about the 90s stuff and 80s stuff that it's so cool, you know?
It wasn't expected back then.
No,
because, you know, before you're born, 80s stuff, it was, you'd be lucky to have anything with 200 horsepower.
Oh, yeah, that was a lot back then.
All the Corvettes, all the C3 Corvettes, unless you had the bigger motor, you're basically stuck at 185 or 250 horse.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, 220 horse. And that was it for a Corvette. But this
you know, almost 300, you know?
Almost 300 horse.
Basically a parts bin, you know, parts bin truck, you know, car, whatever. But I mean, it works. Like they're pretty much doing what an average guy would try to build on his own.
Oh, absolutely.
They would take something all-wheel drive that they could find and fit.
Yeah.
You know, throw it in here, turbo it, probably build the stock motor, and I mean that's what they did.
Yeah.
You know,
but they were paid to do that.
They were paid to do it.
GM said to the engineers, "Here, build something."
Yeah.
And then they presented it to the different divisions or the different, you know, within GM General Motors itself.
Right.
And said, "Who wants this?" Buick turned it down. I think Cadillac turned it down. Chevy turned it down, even though they had the S10 pickup truck, which is the same truck.
It's the same
basically.
thing, yeah.
But GMC said, "Hey, we'll take it, and we'll run with it."
Which is funny because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but so my dad had a GMC truck back in the day, just a regular single cab work truck, you know, 1500.
Yeah.
It seems like back then GMC was like the base, like low end truck. Now it's like Denali's, high end, you know.
Yeah, $100,000 trucks that are just so crazy over the top. You know, whether it's power or luxury or whatever. But you know, this was taking basically a small truck and just making it a little bit different and making it more unique, obviously.
Yeah, this is this is so cool, man. I mean, I've driven some cool stuff, but like I said, I never thought I'd find a Syclone and Typhoon. The same guy that owns them. It's crazy. But yeah, when I first started YouTube, I was like, man, I want to find.
So this was one of the cars that was on your list. That's
cool.
And you've been able to experience that because that's the fun part of the car hobby. There's a lot of cars out there that I wish I could own, but I'll never own. But when you get to experience it because somebody's willing to, you know, give you a ride or maybe even let you drive it, that's just fun.
Well, David, I appreciate you taking the time, letting me drive this thing and record a video on it. It's pretty much like a kind of a dream come true, I guess we could say. I mean, I love these things. I've always loved these since I was a little kid, and it's really neat to meet someone like you that has both, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Shane, for coming all the way from
Houston.
From Houston.
Yeah.
You know, like I said earlier, it's fun to share these vehicles with other car enthusiasts so they know what it's like, or you know, at least some of us can only experience it through videos, like what you're putting out there. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
And you know, share the love to our car community.
Yeah, man. Keep it going.
Absolutely.
So guys, that's it for this video today. I'm going to be posting part 2. That will be the Typhoon. So look for that video in the next coming weeks. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.